Real and complex signal. Let us see what is a real signal. A signal x of t is a real signal if its amplitude value is a real number for all t. Okay, here in x-axis time is marked. For all this time, if the amplitude of the signal x of t is a real number, for example, if you take a value from here, it is a real number. Okay, it's a real number. If you take a value from this point, that is also a real number. So such signals are known as real signals. A signal x of t is a real signal if its amplitude value is a real number for all time t. So far we have discussed only about real signals, and whatever we have seen are real signals. Now coming to the complex signal, what is meant by a complex signal? A signal x of t is a complex signal if its value is a complex number. So this is very important. Here the amplitude value is a complex number. So because of that reason, now the amplitude has a real part and an imaginary part. To understand it fully, we must have a quick review of complex number. So assume that we have a point on the circle like this, and from the center of the circle we are drawing a line like this, and let us assume that the radius of the circle is 1, and we have an angle theta with respect to the x-axis. So this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. This is the y-axis. So theta is the angle made by the line joining the point and the origin with respect to the x-axis. From trigonometry, we have already learned that the vertical distance which joins the x-axis and this point is nothing but sine theta, and similarly the horizontal distance which joins the vertical axis and this point is cos theta. So this we have already learned from trigonometry lessons. When a point is marked on the circumference of a circle, we can have a radius from the center of the circle, and if the radius is 1, then the vertical distance is sine theta and the horizontal distance is cos theta. Let us assume that the angle is pi by 3. Let us assume that the angle is pi by 3. So this is sine pi by 3 and this is cos pi by 3. This is cos pi by 3. So what is the value of sine pi by 3? It is root 3 by 2. So this height will be root 3 by 2. If this is 0, this height is root 3 by 2, and this horizontal distance is half or 1 by 2 from 0. Assume that I am transforming this x-axis and y-axis into a complex plane. We are placing this circle along with points and all the other things into a complex plane. So what is meant by a complex plane? A complex plane is a plane in which the x-axis is the real axis and the y-axis is imaginary axis. So to understand the basic ideas of complex number and imaginary axis, you have to watch some prerequisite videos. I have given the link to such videos in the description of this video. You can watch that and then you can understand more about the concepts of complex numbers. So now we have transferred this circle along with these points and all these values into a complex plane which has a real axis and an imaginary axis. We can write this particular point in different ways in the complex plane. So what are those ways? The first one is a plus jb form. So what is a plus jb form? This is also known as Cartesian form. So here we will take the x distance, that is half. Okay, so half, which is nothing but a, and we will also take the y distance, that is root 3 by 2 multiplied with j, because this is the imaginary axis. So 1 by 2 plus j root 3 by 2. So this is nothing but b. This is nothing but b. So this is one form in which you can represent this point, right? A plus jb form or Cartesian form. We can also represent it in another form, and that form is known as the polar form. So what is my polar form? 1 angle pi by 3. 1 angle pi by 3. Okay. So otherwise we will represent m angle theta. So what is m? M is nothing but magnitude and theta is the angle. So this is the other form of complex number, which is known as the polar form. Now from where this 1 came? So we know that to find out magnitude m, we have to use this formula, Pythagoras theorem. So this m or r, right? So this is the magnitude. Magnitude is the line joining the origin of the circle to this point. So that can be calculated as root of a square plus b square. We can calculate that as root of 1 by 2 the whole square plus root 3 by 2 the whole square. So if you calculate that, you can see that m is equal to 1. And we know that the angle is pi by 3. Angle is pi by 3. So that is why we have represented as 1 angle pi by 3. So this form is known as polar form. We can represent it in one more form. So that is known as a trigonometric form. So this format is known as the trigonometric form of complex number, right? Trigonometric form. So why it is called trigonometric form? Because we are representing this point in the complex plane in terms of cos and sine. First we have to represent the horizontal distance, that is cos pi by 3. So this length is cos pi by 3, and this is the vertical distance. Vertical distance is nothing but sine pi by 3. So you have to multiply j because it is in the complex plane. So cos pi by 3 plus j sine pi by 3. So this is another format of representation, and this is known as a trigonometric form of complex numbers. Now using Euler's relation, we know that cos theta plus j sine theta is equal to e power j theta. So because of that reason, the same point on the complex plane can be also represented like this, that is e power j pi by 3. E power j pi by 3. The same number, the same complex number. Okay, so please keep this in mind. This is a complex number. This is a complex number. These are different representations of the complex number. The same complex number on a complex plane can be represented in different format, right? So we can represent it as a plus jb, and you can also represent m angle theta. Then you can also represent as cos theta plus j sine theta, and you can also represent e power j theta. And this e power j theta is the complex exponential form of the complex number. So these are all different representations of a complex number. So we have to keep this idea in mind when we further explore the basic ideas of complex signals. And one thing you have to note here is the compactness of this particular representation, that is the complex exponential representation. So this is having a real part and an imaginary part. This is having a magnitude and an angle, and this is also having a real part and an imaginary part. So compared to all the other forms, this e power j theta is the most compact form of the complex number representation. So these are some basics ideas I would like to represent. So generally I have denoted here, you can represent a point on the circumference of a circle or in the complex plane as a plus jb m angle theta m into cos theta plus j sin theta m into e power j theta, where m is the magnitude. Okay, m is the magnitude of the complex number. Otherwise we can say that the distance from the origin to that point, right? In the previous case it was 1, but always it won't be 1. So at that time you have to incorporate that m in the equations here and here. So m can be found using the Pythagoras theorem using root of a square plus b square. Angle theta can be found using tan inverse of b by a, which we have already learned in school. A is equal to m cos theta and b is equal to m sin. So this is a quick review of complex number which we have already learned in our school. Generally a signal can be defined like this: a mathematical function between an independent variable. So most of the time this independent variable is time, and a dependent variable, and in most of the time when we talk about electronics and communication or biomedical engineering, so the dependent variable will be amplitude. So it's a mathematical function between an independent variable and a dependent variable. So time versus amplitude. In the case of real signals, the amplitude of the signal is a real number. And in the case of a complex signal, the amplitude is not real. Hereafter, it is a complex number. Otherwise, we can say that the amplitude has a real and imaginary part. So with that definition in mind, let us see a complex signal. So here you can see that we have a real axis here. This purple color is the real axis and this magenta color is the imaginary axis. Okay, so this is the real axis and this is the imaginary axis. So two axes we have already used to represent the number itself, right? We need one more axis for time, because what is the definition of a signal? A signal is defined as a mathematical function between an independent variable and a dependent variable. Here our independent variable is time, so time is marked in the z-axis here, and our dependent variable or the amplitude has two values. Now it has a real part and an imaginary part, so we need to use two axes for that. So we need to use a real axis and an imaginary axis to represent the amplitude values. So two values are varying with respect to time. Okay, two values, one real value and one imaginary value, is varying with respect to time at the same time. So because of that reason, our signal will have a 3D form like this. So this is a complex sinusoid or complex exponential signal. So the signal is moving like this in the 3D form because we have three axes, so we can represent the signal only in 3D. We have a real axis and imaginary axis and a time axis. So with respect to time, the real value and imaginary value are varying, and each of these points on the signal is an example of a complex number. Okay, so these points are examples of complex number. If you take the value, you can see that it has a real value and an imaginary value. We can plot a graph containing only the imaginary. So this is the imaginary axis, this is the imaginary axis, and this is the time axis. This is the time axis. Okay, this is a time axis and this is the imaginary axis. So you can plot only the imaginary part and time. You can get a sinusoidal signal like this. You can get a sinusoidal signal like this. You can also plot the real axis here. Okay, so this is the real axis and here it is time. Here it is time, right? So time. So in this way you can say that the complex signal has two parts. One is the imaginary part and another one is the real part. The imaginary part is given by the imaginary value of the complex number with respect to time. When we plot the graph between imaginary value of the complex number with respect to time, and you will get the real part of the signal when we plot the real value of the complex number with respect to time. This is the basic idea of a complex signal. So since the signal has two parts, we can write the signal x of t. So this is not a real signal, this is a complex signal. Complex signal. So we can write this complex signal as x r of t, where r represent real part and j into x I of t, right? So j is the operator, complex operator, and I represent it is an imaginary number. Now how to find out the magnitude of this particular signal? Magnitude means distance from the origin to any point on the signal, right? That can be computed as xrt square plus xit square. And similarly, the angle can be found using this equation, that is tan inverse of imaginary part divided by real part. So this is how can we convert the signal from Cartesian form to polar form. Similarly, we can represent the signal using this format, that is m into e power j theta. Here it is not a complex number, it is a complex signal. So we have to represent x of t as x of t, that is the magnitude of x of t into e power j angle of x of t, right? So here magnitude of the signal x of t and angle of the signal x of t. We can represent that form. So this form is known as the complex exponential form of the signal. Complex exponential form. Complex exponential form. Similarly, we can represent the signal in trigonometric form also. Otherwise, the real part is given as magnitude into cos angle theta, and the imaginary part is given as magnitude into sine angle theta. Real part of the signal is given by magnitude of the signal into cos and angle of the signal, and imaginary part is given by magnitude of the signal into sine angle of the signal. So this is the representations in complex exponential form and trigonometric form. Now why these complex representations are required? Why we need to make things so complicated by incorporating complex number into the signals? So we can see that complex number contain two real numbers, right? Complex number contain two real numbers, that is a plus JB. Here A is also a real number, and B is also a real number. So we will together make it as a complex number in the form A plus J beta, right? So a complex number contains two real numbers. Now a complex signal can carry information about two real signals. So that is the basic idea here, right? So using a single complex signal, we can have the information about two real signals or two real channels. So that is the basic idea of using complex signals, and we use these ideas in digital and analog communication technology. And another important thing is that the algebra and geometry of complex signal is very compact. So we have seen that e power j theta is the compact representation of a complex number. So because of that reason, the algebra and geometry or visualization, right? Visualization is very easy and provide better insights about the signal. So these are the reasons why we go for complex signals. Even though things are becoming complicated, it will provide us more compact representations and better insights about the signals. And you have to keep in your mind that the motivation behind this idea is mathematics. So in practice, in laboratory, we will measure all the signals as real values. In practice, only real signals exist. There is nothing called complex signals exist. Okay. So whatever you measure, the current or voltage, whatever you measure is existing as real values. However, we are using this complex signal representation and complex algebra for mathematical representation. We can say better mathematical representation. So only in mathematical representation the signals are represented as complex signals. It helps us to make our algebra and geometry easier, and we will get better insights from the complex signal representations.